The read was it was not going to be approved. It was absolutely not going to be approved. So what happened? If it were to have been approved the regular way, we would have been getting questions, meaning from the SEC, and no one was getting questions from the SEC beforehand. So that was an indication, no go. Just, we'll have to try it again.
After receiving regulatory approval for its Bitcoin ETF earlier this year, BlackRock is now preparing to launch its Ethereum ETF. The filing with the SEC reveals that the manager has already invested $10 million in the initial purchase of Ether. Bloomberg analyst Eric Balchunas estimates that the launch could take place as early as the end of June. He bases this on the update of the S-1 filing submitted by BlackRock. ARK Invest CEO Cathie Wood said crypto is now a U.S. election issue, which is why key documents for the proposed Ether exchange-traded funds, ETF, were approved suddenly and unexpectedly. Cathie Wood is well known for her bullish sentiment on Bitcoin, predicting that the Bitcoin price could reach $1.5 million by 2030, and calling it a financial superhighway. Regarding the recent approval of Ethereum ETFs, Wood noted a surprising lack of friction compared to Bitcoin ETFs. On the 16th of May, a letter was signed by over 50 participants and groups from the digital asset industry. They sent it to the Speaker and Minority Leader of the U.S. House of Representatives, urging them to back a bill, H.R. 4763, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or FIT21. FIT21 is expected to be debated and voted on this week. Within a week, several factors contributed to this change, according to Cathie Wood. Wood, who is also the firm's chief investment officer, said sentiment evolved around the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, FIT21, in the House. Ready to uncover more insights? Remember to subscribe and turn on notifications always to get our latest content.
Well, the ETFs are a wonderful structure. They can scale. You've got an ecosystem. This is not just the 10 companies or how many are still in operation. I don't know if any, I don't think any has outright failed yet, but the ecosystem, the structure is extremely flexible because the authorized participants, the market makers, are not inside one firm. We have dozens of authorized participants, and those are the big brokerage houses. So this is another reason they're being not forced into this, they're being lured into this because the ecosystem, authorized participants, market makers is a very lucrative ecosystem. And these wirehouses host many of them. So I think, we could scale to hundreds of billions of dollars.
There didn't seem to be such friction in the Ethereum ETF being approved as there was with the Bitcoin ETF. What is your read on that?
The read was it was not going to be approved. It was absolutely not going to be approved. So what happened? If it were to have been approved the regular way, we would have been getting questions, meaning from the SEC, and no one was getting questions from the SEC beforehand. So that was an indication, no go. Just, we'll have to try it again. What happened in 1 week's time, and I truly believe this was one of the things that happened, is there was sentiment evolving around this FIT21 Act in the House that, wait a minute, this thing is gaining momentum on both sides of the aisle. And wow, this could be an election year issue. This is an election year. So the administration, I think, basically said, and the other thing that happened was former President Trump has become much more cozy with Bitcoin, crypto generally, and that week said he would accept campaign donations in crypto. So again, this idea, this is an election year issue. And then I cannot tell you, I was on the phone with our COO, and he was like, he screamed when he saw this come across, like, what? It was within 3 days of being denied. We were sure. We were sure it was going to be denied. And I think it was this campaign election year. You've got the legislative branch, you've got former President Trump, you had, rapid fire, and boom, here we are.
World's crypto adoption rises amid economic challenges, with stablecoins mitigating currency restrictions. Argentina is looking to learn from El Salvador's experience in adopting Bitcoin and regulating cryptocurrencies. The National Securities Commission of Argentina confirmed the country is considering cooperating with El Salvador on Bitcoin adoption. This follows an important meeting between Argentinian and Salvadoran regulators last week. Wood stated that her base case assumes Bitcoin will take over 3% of the global money supply, excluding the big four economies, US, UK, Japan, and Europe. She considers this a conservative estimate and suggests it could potentially be much higher, up to 20%. Now, let's redirect our attention to a video.
What I think is going to happen is the currencies at risk right now do not include the dollar.
More global.
It is the emerging market currencies, which I don't know if you've been watching, but the devaluations taking place around the world, again, our monetary policy, I believe, is causing that. The dollar going up, the Nigerian naira is down 50 to 60% since last June. The Egyptian pound devalued by 40% in March. Think about this. In Latin America, you're seeing any currency not tied to the dollar, and
I was in Malawi a few months ago, and they devalued the currency just before I got there.
Yes. And what's interesting about this is you're not hearing about it. Maybe this part of the world is hearing about it because you're sensitized to it, but in the equity market, nobody's paying any attention to this. None. They don't talk about it, they don't care about it. So those are the currencies, we do believe in our price target for Bitcoin, in our base case. We believe that if you were to look at global money supply and take out the big four, so that's US, UK, Japan, and Europe, take those four out. The rest of the global monetary supply, we assume that 3% will effectively, that Bitcoin will take over 3% of it. I think that's a very conservative assumption, but that gives you a sense of, and I know when we get to price targets, we don't sound conservative, but 3% is conservative. I think it could be much higher. I think it could be 20%, because I think President Bukele is showing the way. You want to increase purchasing power. You want to increase wealth. And this is, for countries and individuals whose purchasing power and wealth are being destroyed, they need an insurance policy.
In the constantly evolving world of crypto, few events are as significant as the authorization of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs by U.S. regulators. For Goldman Sachs, the arrival of Bitcoin ETFs has been a true psychological turning point for the industry. With this regulatory recognition, Goldman Sachs predicts that Bitcoin should see mass adoption by traditional investors. While the approval of Ethereum ETFs has boosted market sentiment, uncertainties regarding S1 registrations continue to cast a shadow. What are your thoughts on the recent developments in the cryptocurrency market, particularly the approval of Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs? We welcome your insights in the comments section below. If you found this content valuable, don't hesitate to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to stay informed. Thank you for joining us on this journey.